Happy New Year, everyone. And we are back after a little time off over the holidays. Welcome to the Retirement Chef, Whipping Up Wealth, with the CEO and Senior Wealth Advisor at Wealth Standard Financial, Brian Butler. I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull, and Brian and his crew, he's got a good crew. You can look at him in the About page, so to speak, on wealthstandardfinancial.com. But Brian and his great team would love to hear from you and get things going in the right direction in 2025. You can dial them up also, besides going to wealthstandardfinancial.com at 713-955-6007. And Brian, welcome back. It's good to be around again today.
Hey, Doug. How you doing, man? It's great to be back.
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for asking there. Hey, you and I have something in common besides sitting here and spitting verbs about finance, because both of our very southern cities have gotten snow. And as rare as it is here for me, based out of Atlanta, where our marketing company is, Impact Partnership, you in Houston have had to deal with some of the fun stuff.
No, absolutely. We got real snow this time that actually stuck around. And surprisingly, it's still outside in my backyard. We still have little pockets of snow. So it's a strange phenomenon, but a fun phenomenon. So we had videos of police officers doing donuts in parking lots, people on the freeway skiing, snowmobiles on the streets, because nobody's on the roads because we don't know how to drive in snow and we don't have the supplies for it. So it was basically a citywide fun day. And so it was great to see.
Any ballpark on how much snow y'all got? Because really in Atlanta, we got a couple of inches back several weeks ago, and then just most recently kind of a dusting, but it was super cold. Did you all get, like New Orleans, not super far from you, got inches and inches of snow? What was it like in Houston?
I think we got 3 or 4 inches of snow. So it was pretty good. It was legit. So, I went to school in Iowa for a few years, a few decades ago, but I got my fill of snow. And so it brought back memories of being there and saying, oh, this is legitimate snow. You can make a snowman and everything. And so it's every probably 10, 15 years we get snow like this, maybe even longer than that, to get like real snow that sticks around.
Oh, well, that's a lot of fun. We'll soak it up and enjoy it there. And since we've been on last, had a lot of change going on. Not only did you flip the calendar to a new year, you saw your precious Texas Longhorns going down to the college football playoff there. You had to sit there and watch Notre Dame and Ohio State duke it out there in recent times. But now we've turned a new page, but we're going to an age-old question. Do I have enough money to retire? And comedian Zoltan Kazas, quite a name, I know. He has something to say about reaching this predicament, and he's a guy that's a little bit younger like me and is already thinking about it.
He goes, well, when are you going to retire? And I'm like, I don't know. What are people saying? And he goes, well, a lot of people now are saying 68. And I'm like, all right, put me down for 68. And then he goes, all right, now how long do you need this retirement money to last you? And I'm like, are you asking me when I'm going to die? I don't know. And he goes, well, a lot of people are saying that they need this money for 15 years after 68. And I'm like, well, what happens if I live 16 years? And that's right, I think he got annoyed because he cut me off. He goes, look, do you want it or not? So I'm retiring at 68, and I need to be dead 15 years after that. If I live beyond that, you guys are going to be seeing some GoFundMes going up.
I hope a conversation, Brian, with you or someone else at Wealth Standard Financial goes a little better than Zoltan's did. So what is that conversation like when people wonder, do they have enough money to retire?
Mm-hmm. That's always the $1 million question when it comes to retirement. And whether people say it or not, it's an insecurity that they have when they're getting ready to retire. How can I replace the paycheck that I had for the last 30 or 40 years? Is that going to last? What if I get sick? What if I have an emergency? All of those things crop into their head because they're important. And running out of money at an older age, you don't have as many options as you used to. So an analogy I do sometimes with people are the athletes. So a lot of us watch sports. So if you have an athlete that's 20 or 30 years old, that's making millions of dollars, they sometimes don't realize they're one mistake away from not having any money. And so if you made $20 million in your career and you blow it at the age of 38, the likelihood that you're going to go back and be able to make another 20 million is slim to none. especially if you didn't prepare or you have a great skill from their standpoint. So there's an analogy between those athletes and people that are gearing up to retire because they're in a similar situation. If you're in your early 60s, early 70s, you may be able to go to work, but you probably won't be able to make as much money as you did previously. If you're in your late 70s, early 80s, do you really want to go back to work?
Right.
And so running out of money becomes paramount when you're looking at how you structure your retirement. What kind of lifetime income sources do you have? Things like pensions, if you're lucky enough to have them, Social Security, annuity income, life insurance income. Where your income source is going to come from if the worst thing happens and you get close to running out of money. How do you plan for that worst case scenario? And that's what we do. We run probability models. We give you income models to determine, based on the lifestyle that you want and want to maintain, in a worst case scenario, what's the likelihood that you're going to run out of money? And then we build the plan to prevent that. In most cases, we're able to, if we're working together, collaborating together, have a good investment plan, a good income plan, a good tax plan. All of those things work together. So trying to piecemeal everything by yourself, it becomes difficult, especially with tax law changes. We just had a new president get inaugurated. So when new administrations come, new tax laws and changes in the market, it's going to be nonstop. And do you want to spend your whole retirement worrying about that? Or do you want to give it to a professional and have a partner through life's transitions as you go through? And so that's what we try to focus in on, the numbers, the probabilities of disaster, and how can we prevent the worst case scenario? So then that way you can just take some things off your plate and enjoy the time that you've earned.
And this is not something in my talks with you before that you do one time. You sit down for your first complimentary session at Well Standard Financial, have this great talk with you. You do some modeling, you press a few buttons, start a few accounts, and then leave it. It's something that you constantly have to do maintenance on based on changing desires or changing climate too.
Absolutely. So we believe in financial planning rather than just a standalone financial plan, because the day we finish that financial plan is probably going to be different in a few weeks. So we want the ongoing planning process, because your retirement is most likely going to include several administrations, several different markets, several market turmoils around the world. How do you navigate that? And do you have a partner to bounce ideas off of, ask questions? And we have a great advanced solutions team that we have that includes tax planners, trust attorneys, strategies that we can implement to give you some lifetime income, alternative investments. All of these things play a role for some people, depending on their situation. And our job is to evaluate that and see what makes the most sense from you from a fiduciary standpoint, so that we can help you get to those income goals that last a lifetime, build the legacy that you want, and really get you to finding the freedom that you want in life.
I heard a stat earlier today. You know, the numbers always go around. Do I need $1 million to retire? Somebody's thrown a number recently, 1.8, and I don't have like the article in front of me. But a consumer guru here in Atlanta said that, based on a number he'd looked up anyway, the average person has like $87,000 saved up when they retire or something like that. So they did a survey. People think on average they need 1.8 million, but then the average person has 87,000. How do you help people before retirement even go any length to try to make up that difference there?
Well, the difference can be misleading. So there are a lot of people that retire with a lot less money because it depends on your lifestyle and your income needs. So if you have 3 pensions, Social Security, annuity income, and your monthly expenses are pretty low, your house is paid off, a lot of times you can have a great retirement without as many assets. If you have a lot of income going into retirement, you don't need as many assets necessarily. So how do you navigate retirement? Because it's a cash flow issue. And so how do we build the right cash flows? Because there's not a particular number that's right for everyone. Some people spend a lot of money. Some people don't spend any money. Most retirees love to travel. I know a lot of retirees that have no desire to travel at all. And so building it out is unique to each person. And so do you want to retire in America? So if you want to retire in America, your retirement and income levels might be significantly higher than if you want to retire in Mexico or Costa Rica, or like you see the sign behind me, Portugal. So
Yeah.
I've been looking into Portugal for years
I'm supposed
now.
to go in April, by the way. So yeah.
Yeah. So been looking into Portugal for years, great place to retire, sixth safest country in the world, great healthcare, and you have access to all of Europe. So if you have some kind of hybrid version of that, what does retirement look like? A lot of clients I talk to have never thought about potentially retiring somewhere else, because your dollars can go significantly far. I was talking to a client and they want to retire in Thailand.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They need 20% of the money that they would need to retire in America.
Yeah.
And they were like,
versus the bot, baby. That's nice.
they were shocked, and they would live significantly better. But is there a trade-off? Is healthcare better in America? Well, healthcare access is better. Healthcare cost is not necessarily better. So when you're including, the access to your family, access to healthcare, lifestyle, what's important to you, and how do you measure that? And so we run people through the whole process. It's not just the numbers, it's the emotional side and it's the lifestyle side. How do you bring that all together? And that's truly how you can determine, will I run out of money in retirement? And so that's what we're excited to do for people.
Yeah, so excited to help you plan. It's nice sometimes that you see a plan and then continue planning. We just learned we don't leave it at plan and then see where that can lead us. So if somebody's hearing this right now and they realize, wow, I haven't modeling. Only modeling I did was, on a catwalk somewhere. Okay, modeling, and they're hearing that you have these advanced tools. They're hearing that you can have a session together with you and then actually plan for cash flow, not just that scary number of assets under management. And they want to have that conversation. What should they do, Chef Brian?
They should definitely reach out to us, because we give you as much as we can in your complimentary session. We want it to be valuable to you. We're not just product pushers trying to sell you the next greatest thing. We are really trying to give you a detailed idea of, okay, can we help you get to what you want? And are we asking questions that you never thought of? And usually that's the great thing about working with an advisor. We help retirees every day. And so if we're doing that, we take that expertise and those experiences from those other clients and then help you with your scenario. So reaching out, talking to us for a free session, it really won't hurt anything. It can only help you. And so that's our real target.
Well, right. Target is health. I see, that you guys have Wealth Flow 360 process and other tools and tips, and it's a no obligation chat as well. You're not expected to sign on the dotted line just because you had a friendly conversation.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that separates us from some of the other advisors is our process that is Wealth Flow 360. We believe in frameworks. So that framework really breaks down each area of your financial life, giving you an idea of what am I getting by working with an advisor? We really want to spell that out to you. So if you go to our website and look at our Wealth Flow 360 process, check out our team. We have a ton of great resources that you can access on the website. And then from there, make an appointment. Come in, whether it be virtually or in person. We'd love to talk to you.
I know you would too, especially getting 2025 off on the right foot. So go to wealthstandardfinancial.com, wealthstandardfinancial.com, or you could dial up Brian and his team there in Houston, 713-955-6007, 713-955-6007. Get that process started. And Brian, I appreciate you laying some of this out and at least helping us get this conversation started.
No, I appreciate it, Doug. I'm excited to talk to the next group of people that come through and need help.
And remember, he's the retirement chef, everybody, so he can put this in language you understand. All right, we all speak food, okay? So he can definitely talk you right through that. So again, go to wealthstandardfinancial.com, get that going, learn more about him. We thank Brian for his time. We also thank our producer Daniel Salerson for getting this published, and to all of you for listening back in after about a month or so off. I'm Doug Turnbull. He's Brian Butler, the CEO and Senior Wealth Advisor for Wealth Standard Financial, and we thank you all for listening to the Retirement Chef, Whipping Up Wealth.
The opinions voiced in The Retirement Chef, Whipping Up Wealth with Brian Butler, are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Guests on The Retirement Chef, Whipping Up Wealth are not affiliated with CWM LLC. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.